maybe politicians like to build cities because building means generates money. Building generates cash. I was careful saying cash, but yes, building a city would generate enormous cash. But that may or may not be the motive. The fact is that this would have generated jobs. This would have brought in more investments. This would have brought more industry. Uh, on the other hand, everything stayed back in Hyderabad. New investments came to Hyderabad. Jagan stopped this project. Filed many cases. Then he had this truly incredible ideas, which I had then described as Tughlaq cubed, not even Tughlaq squared, but Tughlaq cubed. That, I will have three capitals: one judicial capital, one administrative capital, one legislative capital. Then, while one will be my judicial capital, I'll have different benches in different cities also. And then my state assembly, one place will be my legislative capital, but it will also have a summer session somewhere else. So this was just a waste of time and waste of a mandate. It's a lesson to everybody. It's a lesson to everybody that when you get a mandate, don't waste it. And people don't keep voting for you just because you throw money at them. So that is one big takeaway. The other comes from the distant, more challenging states for the BJP. We are sort of presuming at this point, just looking at the odds, that this will be a BJP-led coalition government. So whatever coalition comes to power now, we'll have to deal with what used to be the mundane problems of governance in a complex country like India. And these mundane problems can come from states or regions which don't send so many MPs. So they may not be so important in terms of electoral politics. Look at Punjab, for example. Punjab sends only 13 MPs. The BJP decided to break off with the Akali Dal. It was a very arrogant thing to do because they thought they didn't need the Akali Dal and they could go there on their own. And this completely ludicrous idea of telling the Sikhs that Sikhs are actually Hindus, turned out a bit differently, and that hoping that they will start voting for the BJP. That didn't happen. And then getting their begged, borrowed, and stolen candidates. So they had this begged, borrowed candidates, all some taken from Aam Aadmi Party, some taken from the Congress Party, Captain Amrinder Singh, for example, and his wife Praneeth Kaur, who's trailing in Patiala at this point, Rinku from Aam Aadmi Party, who had just won the by-election in Jalandhar after the Congress sitting MP had died. All of them have lost. All of them have lost. Now, what has happened in the process is that while the BJP's own dream of reaching out in Punjab and establishing itself as a big party there, that has gone. The BJP thought they will become the second party in Punjab. Now that dream has gone. Not just that, in this mess, in this commotion, where in at least 3 states it became a contest between 5 parties, right? In in 3 seats it became a contest between 5 parties. In all seats it was a contest between 4 parties, that is Congress Party, Aam Aadmi Party, Shiromani Akali Dal, and the BJP, right? So in any case, we said that in those seats, any party that gets more than 2.5 lakh votes only has a chance of winning. So everybody has a chance of winning. But in 3 seats, there were 5 candidates because there was always also a radical candidate. That is Simranjit Singh Maan in Sangrur, Sarabjit Singh Khalsa in Faridkot, reserved, and also in Khadur Sahab, Amritpal Singh, who now goes as Amritpal Singh Khalsa. In these, because of this 5-way split, all you needed was about 2 lakhs for victory. In the process, in 2 of these seats, candidates who you would describe as radical have won. So Amritpal Singh has won from jail. What will the BJP do with him now? Will they keep him in jail? His father had told me if they still keep him in jail, they should know what are they telling the 5 lakh odd people who voted for him, right? So he's won his election by a wide margin. And also Sarabjit Singh Khalsa has won his election both as independent. Sarabjit Singh Khalsa is the son of Beant Singh, assassin of Indira Gandhi. He's won his election. And then in Baramulla, engineer Rashid, who's also a radical, jailed in Tihar, he's won his election. Now, these are issues that the new government will have to deal with. Modi government in the last 10 years had put all these issues aside. They are come back. They are coming back. They have come back. Not just that. Look at Manipur. On both seats, BJP is trailing, right? If they lose both the seats, first of all, Biren Singh becomes untenable. Frankly, he had become untenable beginning last March, first week of March, when trouble broke out last year in Manipur. And Manipur's been burning since then. So that is another can that they've been kicking down the road, thinking that they were in an all-conquering mode. Now that is a problem. Again, it's a fire in a very distant part of country. They will have to address. And then Nagaland. Nagaland is a state where DK will tell you BJP has only Congress party has only one MLA, and looks like the Congress party is ahead in the lone parliament seat there. So that tells you that the mood has changed there as well. And as these states and these let me just say, these emotions, they see a weakened BJP at the center, then it'll lead to other challenges which the BJP will now have to deal with. And the third point is that more and more parties which have become BJP's partners will now be looking at the price they pay and the risks they take, because BJP has customarily then infiltrated into their support bases and have tried to move into their positions. They've done that with some, and the Akali Dal, for example, although the BJP's effort to take that space failed, but Akali Dal also got wiped out. But also it's a lesson for those parties, those regional parties, which, because they were afraid of BJP's large numbers in Delhi, did not quite join the NDA, but kept on voting with the BJP in Rajya Sabha and elsewhere to support the party, hoping that this buys them peace. It bought them peace for some time, but ultimately what happened? Ultimately, BJP came in the case of Odisha directly, in Andhra Pradesh in partnership with TDP, and destroyed the incumbent who had actually been such a good boy all these 10 years. So these are the wider lessons that come to the BJP and that come to national politics from the distant states of India. Two of them sizable states, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, and then some really small states like Manipur and Nagaland, and a medium-sized state, Punjab, but again, a very critical border state and a state where the central government in India, in Delhi, has always had a governance challenge. So all these areas have now opened up for the new government. This will require skills and humility that BJP over the past 10 years has given us no evidence of. So they will have to now display some capabilities and some wisdom that we haven't seen from them as yet. So that is what changes fundamentally in national politics with this election. Anything
Shekhar,
else?
please continue.
No,
No, I'm asking
if I may just add here, look at
course.
what I would call the rebirth of Nitish Kumar. I mean, never dismiss him. Now, Nitish Kumar, we were talking earlier, what the BJP would tell us, that Nitish Kumar's tally in the Lok Sabha election would come down from 16 to 5-6. Then his flock would get a split. 60% of his MLAs would come to the BJP, 40% would go elsewhere, and then the BJP would be able to form the government on its own in Bihar. Everything has changed now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has to depend on Nitish Kumar and actually has to do whatever Nitish Kumar wants now. And from here till the next assembly election, if the alliance continues, Nitish Kumar is back with his full glory. The kind of clout he'll enjoy now within the coalition.
In fact, to add to what DK is saying, Nitish Kumar's performance is what saved the NDA. Because if the NDA has performed the way it has performed in Uttar Pradesh, in neighboring Uttar Pradesh, then the gap between NDA and India would have been much smaller. And then it would not have been, it would be a lot more challenging for Narendra Modi to think of building a new coalition, because if the India alliance instead of 230 odd had 250 odd, and if NDA instead of about 295 300 had about 275 280, then all bets would be off, because that would then become, even today it has become the season of negotiations and give and take. That would have been a much tougher negotiation, and other possibilities would have opened up. So Nitish Kumar, in fact, and I also made that mistake, I also thought that he was now on a downturn, and he was now, this was his last innings in power, and he was going to fade away. And even yesterday, there were rumor-based stories in a lot of the media coming out of Delhi saying that after these elections, he'll be called to Delhi as a cabinet minister, or maybe sent someplace as a governor. So a chief minister more likely to win in Bihar will then be installed in his place. All of that is now over, and that's a very good point that DK has made. I'm adding to that is that Nitish Kumar, it is his performance that has saved the NDA. Otherwise, this government even had a chance of being numbered out. Narrow points verdict, but numbered out.
Shekhar and DK, also the tie between TDP and BJP also probably took a while, but it seems to have paid off so far.
Well,
Sorry, after what?
certainly it has paid off for the BJP.
In TDP's
Right.
case, I think the one of another blunder that Jagan Mohan Reddy made, I think that was the biggest blunder, was to arrest him. Now the sympathy factor that worked for Naidu, it is huge.
Actually, I wanted you guys probably to talk about Chandrababu Naidu's comeback as well, from defeat to arrest and now this win. What are the factors according to you that have probably factored into this?
I think DK will talk about that.
No, I have already spoken about this. We just discussed all these things. Sympathy factor, as you said, he has talked about this three capital formula. On the ground, this unemployment. Somehow, it's not that Jagan Mohan Reddy did not do anything. In these schools, he modernized these schools, which was a good thing. He started, pushing this English education in schools, all government schools, which is a good thing. But in the larger picture, when it comes to employment, as Prasad was telling us, that he was traveling across the state and he would talk to the youth, and their only problem was there was no employment, there were no jobs, all talks, and that has actually hurt. Not just as it hurt the BJP in other parts of the state, it hurt the Jagan Mohan Reddy government there also.
Also, also, arresting Naidu, this is a part of the country which does not have the culture of jailing your opponents. This is something that's happened in some parts of the Hindi heartland, maybe Haryana, places like that, or this kind of victimization of your opponent. This is not something that we've seen very much of in southern states. In fact, in many of the states outside of the Hindi heartland and the neighborhood. And that obviously brought in sympathy. And I think TDP always had a vote bank. TDP maintained a vote bank. It was just a question of adding a few more percent. And then once people think the winds are blowing in one direction, then marginal vote, or what the Americans call undecideds, go in that direction. And that's probably what's happened now.
In fact, when we look at the social engineering that this alliance brought about, Kapus, Kamas, plus Modi factor, you put them together, they were a formidable alliance to start with. Even in 2014, they did extremely well. In 2014, TDP, BJP went into an alliance. They did extremely well last time also. 2019, of course, TDP went alone. Didn't work. So they had to come back. It had to happen. But when it comes to Naidu's arrest, Jagan should have known better. I mean, he was put in jail by the UPA government. He came out with flying colors. I mean, of course, he did not win in 2014, but that laid the foundation for his party to rise. He should have known better instead of going for this political vendetta.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. It's a lesson for others also, because there are limitations to vindictiveness, to how productive vindictiveness can be against your opponents. In fact, that's a lesson for the BJP centrally also, because its targeting of opponents, jailing so many of them, doesn't seem to have worked at all for them.
Shekhar, you mentioned the fundamental changes when you were talking about the takeaways, the fundamental changes that BJP might have to make from now on. What do the numbers so far mean, according to you, for Rahul Gandhi Congress and the India Alliance?
Well, I think the Congress party is looking at a revival. Again, that is something that DK will speak about in detail, if not now, then in the course of time today. Uh, I had written in my column 3 weeks back that every 10 seats the Congress gets will be at the cost of the BJP. At 80, they will start making it an impact. At 90, they will rebalance political equations. At 100, and I'd said if Congress hits 100, it will rock national politics. So that is what has happened. Congress has almost got there. It has rocked national politics. The reason it hasn't rocked it as much as I might have anticipated is just the collapse of BJD in Odisha, which has given the BJP a bunch of seats there and the few seats that have come in partnership with Babu. But nevertheless, Congress getting close to 100 is a big deal. It marks a revival of the Congress party, which is very significant in national politics. Second, the rise of Akhilesh as the preeminent force in Uttar Pradesh. There will be an election there in a couple of years, and it will matter there. Third, the rise of MVA in Maharashtra, which means people of Maharashtra have said that the real Shiv Sena is Thakre's Shiv Sena, real NCP is Sharad Pawar's NCP, and they've also punished the Mahayuti for breaking those other two parties. So it looks like Maharashtra, which is going to have elections in the next 3 months, or Haryana for that matter, Jharkhand. Now, the BJP, it's going to be relentless for the BJP because they'll barely get the time to lick their wounds now before they get into these three state elections.